Welcome to Before the Brand. Today's guest is Hovik, co-founder and CEO of Heirloom Coffee. He has bet the whole company on 100% regenerative, organic, certified beans, convinced the world may not be able to produce specialty coffee by 2050. In just a few years, he's taken Heirloom from one Bay Area shop to nationwide shelves at Target and Sprouts. Hovik, welcome to Before the Brand.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Course. You've said that the world may not be able to produce specialty coffee by 2050. When did that fact first hit you, and did you even believe it at first? How did that idea get inspired?
Good question. I first learned about this early 2020, maybe late 2019. I think it was a Rodale Institute article that I was reading. I read the line and I had to do a double take. Didn't quite click with me. And it was more focused about agriculture, like the world wouldn't be able to produce enough agricultural products to support a growing population by 2050 because of soil degradation and mass agricultural farming techniques. And so I looked closer at coffee and I realized coffee was not immune to that problem. And that really, it became an issue immediately for me because the future of coffee was something that I was very invested in, given my position and what I do for a living.
And you talk about regenerative coffee. What does regenerative actually mean at the farm level that maybe most of your consumers or customers misunderstand or don't really even know what that means?
It's an approach to farming that's both very ancient and also very new. For the last 100 years, the world has been relying on mass agricultural farming and mechanical farming, which has caused the soil and the land to erode at rates that have never been seen before in history. And regenerative agriculture is a form of farming that restores soil health. It restores the biodiversity of the soil and creates and keeps a natural ecosystem that does more good than harm and regenerates soil and builds more soil, builds more natural ecosystems for produce to grow rather than take away.
Is that something you discovered on your own, or how did the idea of regenerative coffee kind of come into your life?
Now, regenerative agriculture has been around for a very long time. It's the way that humans were farming from the very beginning of agriculture. But for me personally, I was reintroduced to it or introduced to it when I was launching the brand Heirloom. We wanted to find a solution to the impending coffee supply problem. And the more research we did, the more we learned that regenerative agriculture was the solution. And if adopted, would be the savior of coffee in the future. And so for us, regenerative agriculture just totally clicked with the brand and it made the most sense as we launched.
Now, thinking more within your brand and what you guys do, you went from a single location to nationwide in Sprouts and Target in under a year. So, how did that first big retail meeting come together, and how was your journey with scaling the company?
We had connected with our distributor KeHE. They're our largest natural distributor at the very beginning stages of the brand. And the category manager at the time had recommended that we apply for the KeHE Golden Ticket. And so we did, and we were chosen as one of the winners of the KeHE Golden Ticket. And that award allowed us to get in front of many different retailers, one of which was Sprouts. And so the buyer at the time had decided to dig into the brand and learn more, and she ended up taking the brand on a national rollout. Was it, geez, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and so she approved the brand to get activated. We didn't even know about it for a couple months until the purchase orders started to come in. And so that was like a giant wake up call that we had to move really quickly. And luckily we were able to do that.
Yeah, sounds great. On the flip side, on like a grocery buyer perspective, which metric do you think matters most to those buyers that an outside founder would never guess?
It's not something that an outside founder would never guess, but it's something that an outside founder may not put enough emphasis on. And for a brand that's already in the market, velocity is the number one indicator. It's how fast your product is moving off the shelf in the market. From a buyer's perspective, that is, in my opinion, the most important metric. But if you're a new brand and you don't have really any velocities to show, I think the most important thing is to prove to the buyer why the consumer will adopt your product so quickly and how fast it'll move once it's on shelf.
Scaling is also a big thing for you guys?
Well, scaling is huge for us. We had to scale the brand very quickly. And luckily, we have the manufacturing facility for it. We built the factory behind me that you see. We built that before we launched the brand itself. And it wasn't as hard to scale for us at the time from that first step to becoming a national brand. But after that, it became a little more difficult. And so we had to learn as we grew.
In terms of costs, which retail cost surprised you the most while you were doing the scaling and building everything?
One of the things that no founder of any brand ever expects, especially when they're new to CPG, is the amount of trade that's associated with launching a brand and maintaining a brand. And so chargebacks, promotions, off invoice, a lot of these fees and a lot of these costs at the very beginning you don't expect. And so going into it, when you're making your business plan, I always tell founders, whatever you think your trade cost is going to be, double it. And that's a pretty good place to start.
Nice. So, how about on sale? That's pretty popular. Is that like a strategic move that you guys have to make? How does that kind of happen?
Yeah, sales are part of our promotional strategy, and that's another cost that you need to account for when launching a brand. For us personally, going on sale is a function of driving trial. So we don't see going on sale as a method to move more product. It's just a method to get people who have not tried our product to try our product for the first time. It's been very effective for us to get new customers, and we've learned that our customers, once they try our product, tend to stick with it. And so it's a very effective tool for CPG brands in the market.
Totally. For your repeat customer, on average, how often does the repeat customer come back and repurchase the product?
Yeah. Our average customer buys a 12-ounce bag of heirloom every 10 days. And so they'll usually go to the grocery store and buy 3 bags on average. And so that'll usually get them through the month. And that's per coffee drinker. So household could be a little more than that.
Do you personally consume your own product? How much coffee do you drink in a day?
I personally consume my own product. I drink about maybe 4 of these pots a day, and then I'll switch to tea in the afternoons. So I'm pretty well caffeinated. It's a problem when your product tastes so good, you become addicted to it.
Definitely. And when you were first building the brand, and even now, what's gone significantly better than you've expected? And maybe what's been a challenge? What's something that you didn't anticipate, but it happened anyway, and you had to persevere?
We were not expecting the adoption rate when we enter a new market. We didn't expect the brand to move as quickly as we did. And so we learned very quickly that when we're on shelf, the grocery store shopper will try our product relatively quickly. And so that was like an unexpected plus for us. And it also improved velocities, obviously, and helped us drive trial. One of the things that we were not expecting was like how to manage freight nationally. We thought it was a lot easier than it was. And there's a lot more emphasis on planning that was done after the first year in business to make sure that the product is available nationwide.
For sure. Is that the product that you are currently trying hardest to solve, or is there something else that is taking up more, I guess, effort and time?
Yeah, logistics are for us are the one of the biggest. I wouldn't say hurdles, but one of the biggest emphases that we have because we're fully vertically integrated. So we buy all of our raw ingredients directly from the farmers. We have to ship it across the world, import it to the Port of Oakland, and then once it gets to the Port of Oakland, we have to manage inbound logistics to our factory. And then once we process and roast it, then it's all outbound logistics. And so we have people whose full-time job is to see where the product needs to go and to predict based on our promotional strategy, seasonality, and like market growth.
As you may know, before the brand is targeted towards kids my age, like mid to late teens that are interested in business. So if you had one piece of advice or kind of like a push to give this audience, what would you have to say to them?
That's a good question. If you want to get into the CPG space, I think the smartest move any new founder can make is to find a mentor who's done this before and has been successful at it. You can't do everything yourself, so you're going to have to learn to delegate and build a really strong team of people that you trust very well. And I think that's a winning combination for success. Network as much as you possibly can now because you never know who you'll run into and who you'll want to reach back out to after you've met them.
So connection is key, basically.
Connection is absolutely key. I want to know as many people as I possibly can, and I try to meet them and connect with them and have some sort of cadence with them because you never know who's going to become helpful to you as you grow your brand in the future.
To wrap it all up, is there a question that you wish different people would ask you, or if you go on a podcast, is there something that you always want to talk about but maybe never gets asked?
Yeah, I think it's one of the questions. It has been asked, but I wish it would be asked more because it's something I want to share more. Is if I would do this all over again, given where we are today and where we're headed. And the answer is very much yes, I would. It's an incredible feeling building a brand from absolutely nothing to where we are today, and excited to keep going and building as large as I possibly can.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. It was very helpful. So, thank you so much.
That's my pleasure. Thanks.